that brings us to item number 11. Action is necessary or appropriate on matters discussed in executive session. Entertain a motion for item number 11. Ms. Hutchinson.
I move that we approve the selected employment items as shown in Exhibit A.
Is there a second? Ms. Hammond, any discussion? As many as approve the motion to approve selected employment items, Exhibit A, will raise their hand. And that includes Mr. Gant. That's unanimous. That brings us to item number 12, naming of elementary school number 13. I'll recognize Dr. Melton to introduce this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Cates. I'm going to do a sound check, testing 1, 2.
Actually, Dr. Melton, let me go ahead and get a motion in a second to make it more appropriate to discuss that item. I'll take a motion that we give approval to the naming of elementary school number 13. Obviously, with the motion in a second, we'll have the presentation. You'll have a chance to answer any questions. Do I have a motion for item number 12? Mr. Lovelace.
I make the motion that we approve the item number 12, the naming of the elementary school number 13 under Exhibit C.
Is there a second? Mr. White. And now, Dr. Melton, I'll allow you to set that up, and we will look forward to the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Cates. I'm going to ask that the principal of the new elementary school, Ms. Pascal, make her way to the podium. And as she does that, this evening we have some special guests with us in reserved seats. Ms. Pascal is actually going to do the introductions. But if I could just pause to express my appreciation for the committee's work of working alongside Ms. Pascal to get us to this point this evening. Ms. Pascal has created the report for us this evening along with our recommendation for the naming of elementary school 13. The work that she and her team have led are in compliance with policy FF, naming of facilities, and also ARFFR, which you'll hear Ms. Pascal reference in her presentation. Ms. Pascal, I look forward to turning over to you.
Well, I look forward to speaking with you this evening. Good evening, Chairman Cates, the school board, Dr. Melton, and I can't leave out the executive staff and the directors because they're essentially my people. So, good evening. I'm really excited to be here. Before I get started, I want to thank you all for the opportunity, the trust and the faith you have in me, and also the gift of time. As any administrator, former or current, can tell you, that's not often a gift we are given. So I have been given the time to get to know the Chapin community, to meet pastors, to meet business owners, to meet community members, and to immerse myself in such a really cool part of our school district that I haven't had the opportunity to do until now. So I want to thank you. Also, I've been reflecting because this is my 30th year in District 5. I look good, don't I? I was a student for 12 years in District 5, and believe it or not, I was actually a student leader. And if you knew me in high school, that's hard to believe. Mr. Cates can tell you. And I spent 4 years as a teacher here at Irmo Middle, and I was a teacher leader. This is my 14th year that I have chosen to stay in District 5 as a school-level administrator. I love serving the district that served me so well. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service. I am in meeting after meeting with you all. I see what you give, and I see it and appreciate it. I see what you do each and every day, and you advocate in every way for our students and our parents and our community, and we are richer for it. So thank you. Now I'll go. Elementary School 13, committee's name recommendation. You guys ready? I don't do like, yeah, there you go, Margaret, thank you. See, my committee knows what's up. Okay, so I have the distinct honor of introducing this incredible committee. So imagine, also I left out, I've been a principal now in a school in every cluster in District 5. So I know the flavor, and it's some cool flavor. So imagine getting a brand new school in a community that you never worked, and the board policy says you got to help build a team. That was fun. So I believe in faith above all, and all of this aligned beautifully because this committee is not only dedicated to the students in the community, but also we've become really good friends. And it's just awesome. So when I call your name, please stand. Anna Miller, principal of Chapin Middle School. You guys can clap, man. We've done some good work. Van Holden, even though he left me, is the director of accountability. Jonathan Ingram serves as one of our parents. Meredith Baginski, she couldn't be here with us. She did participate virtually. She offered a lot to the group, but her commitment to her family, of course, comes first. But I do want to publicly recognize her. You can clap. In absentia. Two trippy, cool people that you guys need to stay and meet. Al and Margaret Walker. Super cool, and if you need a dock on Lake Murray, Norman Agnew. And our historian, our namaste, our community member, it was an advisory position. So he didn't actually vote, but he really led us through the whole process, Rick Howell. Thank you all so much. Dr. Melton did reference District Policy ARFFR. It's all about naming of facilities, and we did use this policy to guide our entire work, the multiple times and the many hours that we worked together. So I just want to give you some insight because I think it's really cool, so I just think that everyone will think it's cool, all the work that our committee did. We worked diligently to study the area. We had a great balance of people who had been in that area for many, many years and generations, and others that were newer to the community. And so we were able to talk about the different experiences we've had, the different knowledge that we've been able to acquire. We analyzed historical and current maps of the area. If you've never done that, it's fascinating. Pre and post the lake. We sought community input from various people and groups, and we interviewed numerous community members. We were out and about, even in our, I don't own one, but even in our boats, trying to get input from various community members. The history of the area, if you don't know, you should. My mom would be very proud of me. She is a historian, a history professor, and retired from the state archives. And this is one part of her that I bucked most of my life, but I'm really embracing it now. The Chapin area was actually a German settlement in the mid-1700s. It has a rich history of valuing hard work, education, and family. There were actually 4 schools in that area. That area of Lexington County has historically been known for hundreds of years as the Piney Woods. The founder, Martin Chapin, actually came to that area because of the pine trees and his lung ailment. There was a Piney Woods School that existed less than 2 miles from the current site of Elementary School 13. A part of the school still stands today. The picture on the right is when it was still operational, and the picture on the left was taken, what, Rick, about a month ago, a few weeks ago? I took that picture. Thank you very much. We didn't just use anecdotal history. We actually went to the South Carolina Department of Archives and History. And if you didn't know, the state superintendent of education has been required since the late 1800s to report every school that exists in South Carolina. This shows documentation of the Piney Woods School from 1907, 1914, and 1919. I have copies of this documentation if you'd like to know more about it. It's really cool. The principal went to Newberry College, and you can, the enrollment is there, as well as what the school was made of, wood, and all kind of neat information is on those documents. We didn't just go willy-nilly and say, hey, what you want this school to be named? It was way too serious for that. So thanks to our very own Al Walker, we used Roger Van Eck's, did I say it right? Eck? Close? Creative thinking process during the decision-making process. So it's a 4-step. You explore, you're an artist, you judge, and when you're ready, which it took us a while, we were a warrior. And this process made every member of the team have an equal voice. And it was very exciting to see. and we actually considered 29 different name options. 29, not 22, not 25, 29 name options. This committee took this charge incredibly serious. So, I really like drum rolls, but I don't know if I'm supposed to behave. Well, you're not giving me the signal, Dr. Melton. She knows I can code switch really well, but my natural personality is this. So, without further ado, this is the committee's recommendation. Can I get a drum roll? Is that okay? Come on, give me a drum roll. Our recommendation is Piney Woods Elementary School. It is important to us to recognize and honor the community that this school is in. This school will be a pillar of that community. It is important that the students I serve know the history of that community. And this name shows that. There's no other school in South Carolina with this name. The only one we can find is in Texas. Yes, there's a road named it, but not a school. So we think it's important to honor the people that came before us. And I want to read a quote to you, if you haven't read this really cool book. It's about Martin Chapin. His doctor told him, "You get out in the Piney Woods section and inhale the pine." And so that is why we are excited to present our committee's recommendation of Piney Woods Elementary School. So what if you all approve? When? Let's go positive. When you approve. The next steps, what we'd like to do is it's important to the committee to get community input because we want the community to feel a part of this school like we do, and it's not even done yet. But we're still working out obviously the attendance lines. So what we would like to do is the committee has planned to get back together to come up with some school color, mascot, and logo options. What we would like is to do targeted research in the Chapin area with the Chapin community to get their input for them to survey them, for them to vote on our school colors, our mascot, and our logo. Once we get that data back from the Chapin community, we will finalize those school colors, mascot, and logo based upon the input, and then the fun begins. We get to create a school website and a social media presence, and I get to stop calling it Elementary School 13 because people look at me weird that don't know District 5 when I say I'm the principal of Elementary School 13. Thank you so much.
Ms. Pascal, thank you for the work of the committee and for the report. Ms. Pascal has taken all the list of things we've given her to work towards and gotten us to this point and then forecast for you the things that we're going to follow. So, Mr. Cates and board members, that is a recommendation of administration for naming of the new elementary school. We'll pause now for any questions that you'd like to ask.
Ms. Hammond?
This is not a question, but it just, to me, solidifies all of the things you said as you reasoned to name it Piney Woods. I know I'm really not 45, but it's been about that many years ago when I was here as a young teacher at Irmo, and I had a good friend in Chapin, and it was Ken Frick. And you had a lot of Fricks out there.
Yep.
And so whenever we'd go to visit he and his wife, Vivian, he'd say, "Come on out to the Piney Woods." And I never knew. I thought, I'm going to Chapin. I'm going to Amix-Berry Road. But I would tell you that the Fricks have been there a long time, lots of Fricks. But when I saw it, I was really excited just thinking that many years ago as a young Irmo teacher, they call that place the Piney Woods. So I really like your name.
They did. I've actually spoken with Mr. Frick. He was a principal here in District 5
Yes,
for
he
many
was
years.
at Irmo Middle.
Mhm. Yeah, he's great.
But I didn't know it went back that far, and I really thought Ken didn't know what he was talking about. I never saw a sign that said, "Come to the Piney Woods," and it was far out from Irmo.
Mr. Lovelace?
I got a question for you, Cassie.
Yeah.
I think it was J.J. Casey who's president of the Historical Society, or was. I think she told me that Martin Chapin was a Union general. Is that true?
I didn't see that in the documentation, but I am not a Martin Chapin No,
Yeah,
professional.
he moved, and that was a
He did in 1850. He moved down here with his wife.
stop on the railway, and it was,
He owned over 4,000 acres before the lake was built. Yes, over 4,000 acres before the lake was built. He gave land, he was a very generous man from what I've read. He gave land for the railroad, the right-of-way of the railroad. He also donated lumber. He had a lumber business, and he donated lumber to the Thornmill Children's Home, which is near and dear to my heart because I went to PC and I used to teach Sunday school there. So he was a very cool guy. I mean, a very wonderful man.
yeah, that's-
See, I can be professional.
Do you have questions? Any other? And maybe we can encourage your mom. It could be her next book.
I know. My mom has written a bunch of books.
Yeah.
She's way
A
smarter
great
than I am.
history person there. So thank you. Any other questions? Great. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to thank you, Ms. Pascal, for doing all this work and for engaging this group of individuals, and to thank, I'm sure the board all thanks you for your service. It takes a lot of time, and your volunteer service is greatly appreciated. And I think y'all came up with a marvelous name with a great heritage, so I appreciate everyone's work.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for the committee. All right, as many as favor the motion to finally do away with the elementary 13 moniker and now have Piney Woods Elementary School. We've had that motion in second, presentation from the principal and the committee. As many as favor the motion will raise their hand. And that includes Mr. Gant, so that is unanimous. And I was going to say you could jump up and down.
Have
but
a name, Tammy. That's Tammy Simpson. She's my
So,
secretary.
Again, thank you.
Shirt's made right now.
Yay, good job.
That we got the reserved Ms. Pascal tonight.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Cates, for you and the board to know, it's a celebratory day for what was known as Elementary 13, that's now known as Piney Woods. But it's also Miss Pascal's birthday and her wedding anniversary. So I have a little something I'd like to have presented to her this evening.
Husband's in the audience.
It's a date night, and maybe we can provide a stack before you go. So thank
Some
you.
leftover cookies or something.
Tell them they can leave now, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to celebrate.